According to the 2015 identity fraud study, $16 billion was stolen from 12.7 million U.S. consumers in 2014. There was a new identity fraud victim every 2 seconds that year. Unfortunately, I was one of them. It was Friday, December the 26th, the day after Christmas, and I have one thing on my mind, and that was getting to Target to have first pick of the half-price candy and Christmas decorations. My cart was full of tree-shaped Reese's cups, wrapping paper, ornaments, and a bunch of other things I just had to have. I made my way to the register and waited my turn to check out. I put all my goodies on the belt and made small talk with the cashier while she scanned my items. Before she even gave me my total, I had already swiped my card and was just waiting on her to hand me my receipt so I could get to work. Then I heard the 4 words nobody ever wants to hear when they're shopping. Your card was declined. Huh? I said. Run it again. I knew that was impossible because I have money in my checking and overdraft protection for my savings. Plus, the running tab I keep in my head of what I put in and take out my account is usually pretty accurate. She ran it again, and even though it was unlikely that this time it would magically go through, of course it was declined again. I called my bank immediately, and after answering all the security questions, I was told that the reason my card was declined was because both my checking and savings accounts were wiped clean. Apparently, someone in the Philippines had been taking small withdrawals from my account. Over the months leading up to that day, they had processed 13 transactions, ranging from a few cents to $26. They finally went in for the kill on Christmas Day. Fortunately for them, I only checked my bank statement to make sure my direct deposit went through or when I wanted to make sure I had enough money to buy a new purse. Today, I am going to inform you about identity theft. Every day, we all do things that make us more likely to be victims. Of all the demographic groups, students, that's us, indicated that we had the least amount of concern about fraud occurring. 65% said they were not very concerned about fraud. Yet this group is more likely than any other demographic group to see significant effects due to the occurrence of identity theft. Students are also the least likely to detect identity fraud themselves. In fact, 22% of students who were victims of identity theft were notified of it either by a debt collector or when they were denied credit. That's 3 times more frequently than any other fraud victims. There are 3 main points about identity theft I will be informing you about today. I will begin with what exactly identity theft is. Second, what you can do to help prevent yourself from becoming a victim. And finally, the effect it has. Identity theft is a crime which someone wrongfully obtains and uses another person's personal data in some way that involves fraud or deception, typically for some type of economic gain. Not all identity theft involves wiping out bank accounts, also known as financial identity theft, like I experienced. There are other types, such as driver's license identity theft, where they steal your ID and pretend to be you. Social Security identity theft, where your social can be used to obtain things like credit cards and passports. Even children identity theft, where criminals will steal all of a child's information and open up credit cards. Some even commit other crimes with this information. Because identity theft starts with your personal information, there's a number of ways any one of us can become a victim, such as not having antivirus protection on your computer, accessing your personal account information on a public computer, clicking on attachments from unknown sources, giving out entirely too much of our information on the internet. If right now I ask each one of you to write down your social security number, date of birth, checking account number, street address, mother's maiden name, and your full name, you'd probably look at me like I was crazy. But people happily give out this information on the internet every single day. Now that I have explained what identity theft is, that brings me to my next point, and that is how you can make yourself less likely to become a victim. According to the United States Federal Trade Commission, majority of the reports they receive on identity theft were filed by victims aged 20 to 29. And looking around the room, quite a few of you fall into that age bracket. So this is what you can do. Be extremely careful with what you click on when on the internet. Invest in a shredder and shred anything with your personal information. And finally, go over your credit report and bank statements frequently. Checking your bank statement can be set up easily through your financial institution's website. You can check your credit report once a year for free by going to www.annualcreditreport.com. I had explained what identity theft is and how to make yourself less likely to be a victim, and that brings me to my final point, which is the effect becoming a victim can have on you. First and probably most important is the effect it has on your bank account. In the blink of an eye, your entire account can be wiped out. The long-term effects can be on your credit and your ability to secure a credit card or a loan for a house or a car. It can even give you a criminal record for crimes you've never committed. Plus, the time it takes to clear it up is ridiculous. You can end up spending hours at a time on the phone with your bank, credit card companies, IRS, and Social Security. To wrap things up, today I informed you about identity theft, which is when someone fraudulently uses your personal information without your permission for some type of gain, a few things you can do to prevent yourself from becoming a victim, and the negative effects identity theft can have on you. Back to my story though. I never went to work that day or got my candy. Instead, I spent my day at the bank trying to figure out what had happened to all my money. I did end up getting all my money back though, 19 long days later. But not until my bank did a thorough investigation and I filed a police report. That was my first and hopefully last experience with identity theft, and I hope none of you have to go through what I went through. Thank you.